G'day guys and welcome back. So it's been like 4 months since I've made a video. So there's a few reasons for that. The number one reason is I've been incredibly busy with my day job. I've been working 12-hour days, 6-7 day weeks over the last sort of 4 to 6 months, which has kept me really busy and not having much time to go fishing. So I do apologize about not having an upload of any of these long form videos. Been throwing up a few shorts here and there. But yeah, it has been a while since we've done one of these videos now. I have been fishing here and there, but I haven't been doing too well, unfortunately. So fingers crossed we can get that bit of a drought broken soon. We can get some good fishing content coming up. But yeah, that's where I've been over the last few months. So if you've been missing the videos, I am sorry. Just life gets in the way sometimes. But yeah, that's where I've been. All right, so today's video, we're going to do things a little bit differently. So we're going to do essentially a pre-start for snapper season. Going to go over what I use on the kayak and how I've got my kayak set up for chasing snapper early in the season. Now, early snapper season, because the water temperatures are a little bit low, the fish tend to be a little bit shallower than sort of like mid to late season where they do go out to the deep. So early in the season is a great time for guys on kayaks to get out chasing snapper. So what we're going to do is going to wheel my kayak out into my front yard and I go over it and all the things I've got on it as far as how I've got it set up and what I use. And we're going to basically take a look at that, and hopefully there's a bit of information in there, sort of some tips, maybe something that you might want to change about your own kayak, or if you're looking to buy one soon, some ideas on how you might want to set up a new kayak for your own snapper season. Now I may do a video as well, a bit down the track, on what gear that I'm sort of using, like rods, reels, braid, leader, jig head, soft plastics, all that sort of thing. So if that is something that you are interested in seeing, drop a comment down below, let me know, and I'll look at doing a video for that as well. Oh, and one other thing I'd like to mention before we go any further in this video is if you've been watching my video over the last few months, you might have noticed that I've now got a merch store. So we've got things like t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all that kind of good stuff there. So if you'd like to support the channel in that way, we've got that option now available for you as well. All right, enough talking. Let's get the kayak out the front and let's go take a look at it. All right, so we've just wheeled my kayak out the front here and we're going to go through it from front to back. So my kayak is a native Watercraft Slayer 10 Propel, and the reason I went with that over a Hobie is because I feel like it's a little bit more versatile when it comes to what you can use it for, especially in the freshwater and in skinny water. Having that instant reverse on the Propel drive is an absolute godsend. So just obviously pedal forward to go forwards, and then you can pedal backwards like that and go reverse immediately. You can place it a lot more precisely to cast at snags with that, whereas with a Hobie it's a bit of mucking around in order to flip it over from forward to reverse. Now it is a little bit gusty and windy today, so I'm going to get through this as best I can, and hopefully the audio is going to come out okay. But yeah, we'll get through this and hopefully it'll give you a good idea on how I set it up. So we'll start here at the front. Now, hatch cover here. With the hatch cover, basically I put a bag of ice in there, and that is where I keep my biggest snapper. The little esky I got on the back is a little bit too small for putting a big snapper in, so in here will be a bag of ice, and that is where I keep my big snapper when I've caught them. I'm going to look at getting the catch bag that you basically, it's like a liner that you put in there to sit the bag of ice and snapper, but I don't think it's going to be big enough to really put in some big snappers. So typically I'll just put them straight in there, and at the end of the day I'll give it a good wash out to get all the fish slime out so it doesn't stink too bad. Then just back from there we have the camera boom with the GoPro, which is the angle that most of you have probably seen on my kayak. So that's that there. Obviously we've got the pedal drive, not much else going on here right on the front. Then we have got my sounder set up here. So I run a Garmin 5CV. So it's a combination chart plotter and fish finder, and it's got the clear view option as well. I don't use a clear view. If you haven't seen my previous video for how I set up my sounder for chasing snapper, definitely recommend give it a watch, as this little unit here is a ripper for sounding up fish. So I've got two starport mounts here for mounting it. So I've got this arm here on this one here, and that holds obviously the head unit. It's got the excess cable wrapped up there, which I hang off that. And then just back from there is another starport with an angle, and we've got the transducer here. And what makes this so handy is this will be up like this, so it doesn't damage the transducer itself when I'm launching the kayak. A bit of damage on there which says otherwise, but then once I'm out, you know, and I can start pedaling, I'll just push this down, turn the sounder on, and then we're up and running. So just back from there is another starport mount here, and on that I've got my visibility light and flag. Now I'll run that early in the morning, obviously, so I don't get run over by any boats. Once the light comes up a bit, I'll take it off, and this will actually unscrew and break down to pieces about sort of yay long, and then I can then store that, and I will swap that over with the rod holder. I've got a Railblazer rod holder on each side, so I've got one over there as well, and I've got the lock on that. Now some of you guys might have seen my video from last year where I placed one of my rods just in one of the holders and it got ripped into the water by a snapper. It was a poison adrenal with a Stella on it, which obviously isn't ideal. Unfortunately, I managed to get it back as well. So yeah, we definitely have the locks on there locked over. We've got the rod sitting in there, and as I mentioned, I've got one on each side. Basically, so I've got my options there on which side I want to run a rod. So if I'm drifting from right to left, I'll put it in this side. Obviously, if I'm going from my left to my right, I'll put it the sleeper rod on the other side there as well. All right, so just coming back from there, we have got the seat, and I've got seat risers on mine. Helps me sit up a little bit higher in the kayak. It helps with the legs not get so sore. And underneath it, which I'll just get it out now, just one sec, we've got a storage container. Now in this container I keep some tools that I might need, like screwdrivers for like screwing this back down if I need to. I've got Allen keys because the propel drive, this is probably its biggest weakness, these can come loose, so I've got an Allen key to fit that. But in there as well, I'll keep my jig heads, soft plastics, leader line, like cutters and pliers for getting hooks out of fish. And you probably just see it here, but I've got an FPV 7 amp hour battery, and in the side of the tub I've drilled a hole, and then the cable comes out, and that's how I power the sounder. I don't like having anything like cabling and all that sort of stuff permanently attached to the kayak. I want stuff removable, so that's how I've got the power running from my 7 amp hour battery through to the sounder there. So as we come back further, we've got the Shimano net here, which it's not too big, but it's big enough that you can land a good snapper in it, like, you know, a good 80 centimeter fish. It's nice and deep, and it's a reasonably short handle as well, so that's definitely ideal for landing those bigger fish. Now on the back here we have got an esky. Got an Evercool esky. It's got some water in it from last fishing trip, a bit of ice that was in there that's melted, but it's been modified, as you can see. And I've got 3 just cheap plastic rod holders. So that is basically how I set up with my rodders and reels to basically transport from the launch spot out to the grounds. And I'll generally run 3 rods and reels. So I'll have 2 that I'll be using when I'm actually fishing, and then I'll have a 3rd one there as a backup just sitting there. So if anything happens, say this rod and reel will get a bust off, I'll put this one back and just grab that one and it's ready to go. So 3 rods and reels is all I take when I go out there. Now I've also got these little holders on here, and that is for holding my paddle. Now the other thing I can do if I want to is if I only take one paddle out, which is probably not the best idea, you should have your full paddle. I can basically push the net down into that, and that'll hold the net for me as well as I'm pedaling out there. Now the other thing we've got here as well is what's known as an anchor trolley. So it's just a ring on there that you tie an anchor rope off onto, so it'll hold you sideways when you're anchored. Now I don't typically anchor for snapper, I prefer to drift and cover a little bit of ground. That's because I do use soft plastics, and as you drift it will work the soft plastic in the rod holder for you. So got the anchor trolley there just in case I want to anchor, but again generally I don't really do it. And I've got a C-Tug cart. A little bit modified on that as well, because I've basically got like pontoons on this. I've put a couple of PVCs that lock in between the pontoons, and that helps to sort of stop it from sliding sideways on the actual cart itself. So it's a little modification there. Sometimes when you get your trolleys or whatever for that matter, sometimes you do need to make a little bit of a modification, much like I have with a tub in there for the battery power lead. Sometimes little mods like that are going to help make things a lot more usable and user friendly for you. So that's it, guys. This is how I set up my kayak for chasing big snapper early in the snapper season. I hope there might be a little tip for you there on how you might want to set up yours as well. If you've got any questions about any of the stuff that I've got on there on how I've set it up, please drop a comment down below. I'm more than happy to help you out setting up your kayak as far as tips and advice. So yeah, just drop a comment if you want to. If you enjoyed this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.